Hi, welcome to the Rivera Homeschooling Vlog. My name's Nicole. My husband and I have three sons. The oldest is going into second. The second one is gonna be starting his first year with classical conversations. He is 4, so he's like pre-K 4. And the youngest is a toddler. He's just a little bit over a year and a half, and we are potty training. So I wanted to show you some of the supplies we've got for this upcoming school year. We school year round, but I'm gonna go based on the classical conversations / regular normal school year of September through May. So some things last year when I did unboxing, we just started the channel and it was all about Mont Media, which probably can't tell if you can't see it's up here, but all the original McGuffies and the Raise Arithmetic and the Phonics Made Plain, which we are still using. We're just changing our focus. Instead of our focus being Mont Media and we're just adding in the classical conversations part, our focus this year is going to be classical conversations, and we're going to use our Mont Media supplies to facilitate that, because I did a video on about midway last year. Let's see if I could show it to you. I pulled over my cart so that I could have all my supplies, because some of them are not still in a box. I unpacked them already. So last year we got this. And so I've been playing around with it, kind of figuring out how to make it work for our homeschool. And I just decided, you know what, this is going to be our curriculum. This is our curriculum. And I'll just get the resources that it recommends at the back, and we're going to make this curriculum work. And we can use the Mont Media and some of the other read aloud stuff that we have and the Raise Arithmetic to make this work, which is wonderful. I don't have to throw away a whole curriculum. I can just use it to make this one work. Sorry for the background noise. They are trying to negotiate how to build a train track that they both want to build. Okay, so what's in the actual box? So we've gotten several supplies to make our scribblers at home work, or just things that we think are fun. This year for classical conversations, we're going to be doing world geography and ancient history. So we got, this is actually my husband's suggestion. We got the draw and write through history. We got ancient history, which is creation through Jonah. So I love that it has copy work in here, it has drawing in here, it has history in here, and it relates what historically was going on in the Bible at the same time that other things around the world were going on. And then we also have draw and write through history, Greece and Rome, because we're going to do a lot of Greek and Roman history since we're in ancient history. And I'll show you more about that. But that's that. It all has copy work. It's all biblically based. It has a biblically based view of creation and creation history, which some of the resources that are recommended do not. So I didn't buy those. Like Story of the World does not have a biblical 7-day creation worldview. It has more of an evolutionary one, not evolutionary, like more of a old world worldview versus a young earth worldview that's biblically based. So I chosen not to go with that read aloud curriculum. But CC has these Copper Lodge library books, and they're read alouds based, and they're broken down by week. So there's 24 weeks in the Foundations year curriculum. And so each week, so this is like week 2, this is their science. And this is actually not even cycle 1. So I like the science read aloud so much, I've ordered all 3. So there's 3 of them. And this year it's Exploring Oceans with Uncle Paul, Exploring the Heavens with Uncle Paul, and Exploring Insects. So this year's insects. I have these here in case we want to read something else. So each week I think has like one read aloud story and it tells you how to savor the book, how to use the 5 core habits of grammar when we're reading these stories, and dialect, how to use those. And so I think week 1 has 2 stories, but like this one is all story about ants, and in the story it teaches about ants. So it goes through all those different things. It even gets into metal work, because in ancient history, you have all the different types of metals that are starting to be used. And so it goes into like fleece. I don't know what they would do with fleece. And it's all stories, and there's lots of artwork and pictures. Cotton, it starts talking about cotton, and you get to see that. So I thought this would be fun, because I'll tell you at the end how we are switching to like a notebooking based school. Mom Delights has a whole notebooking method, and we are going to be reading and doing our scribblers, and we're going to have a notebook, and we're going to notebook about it. And if I see like some fun things to print out for them, I can print it, and I'll have like a little figuring binder that they could stick that kind of stuff in. But we're just going to be notebooking, exploring, playing, having fun. That's what Scribbles at Home is all about: praying together, playing together, exploring together, and serving together, and doing all those while you're learning all the things that you need to learn. I have a whole video just flipping through this entire curriculum that I'll link below. So that's what we're gonna do this year. It's the plan. I also have the other two in case we get curious. We have those. So then CC also has a Latin read aloud curriculum, and that's cyclical, so there's 3 years. And the first one is Kings of Rome, and so it goes through Roman history, and it's supposed to help with Latin somehow. I haven't even had a chance to look at it yet. I just went ahead and got it because I'm like, we're gonna do it. And they all have artwork and drawings and things, so they can always look at those artworks and try to replicate them in their notebooks while we read. They could copy some sentences of what we read, or they can write a narration, whatever they want to do. So there's like lots of different, almost all the stories have some sort of illustration. So we get to talk about Roman history, starting with the Kings of Rome, and it says 22 stories of Roman kings and conquest, beautiful illustrations, introduction with the 5 core habits and 5 common topics. Yeah. So we're gonna go through that. That's the other. So you have a science read aloud, you have a Roman history read aloud, and then you have whatever that cycle is. So this is ancient world history, so we have ancient world echoes. I have the other 2 books that I got off of, I want to say OfferUp. So I have all 3 cycles of this. The only one I'm missing the other 2 cycles on is this book. So we'll get to that when we get to that, right? So this one has lots of I think there's an Aesop fable a week in here, and there's 2 other short stories of some sort that are literature from ancient history or about ancient history. And so we can read through those and we can discuss them. Like this one's a tale from ancient Greece. So it helps enrich us. It helps us learn about the culture of the historical times and places we're learning about, right? So to know their literature is to understand their society a bit better, is my understanding. There's poems in here. Here's an Aesop fable, the crow, and the picture. And we have we have the Aesop fable book somewhere on the shelf, but it's already designated by week. So each week when I just have to go by week, pick up my planner and say, okay, today we're gonna do Kings of Rome, read aloud, maybe 1 insect, and then next day I'll do this one and another insect, and anyway. Just pick those, and then we do a notebooking page, and we can go outside and do some activities. There's lots of exploration activities. There's a whole nature walk sheet in here that we can do, and yeah, that's cool. So I also, since I am a tutor, and to make this more fun and functional, we went ahead and got these the different cards that they had that I didn't have. Like I already have the timeline cards. So this is Sinking to Know Famous Scientists. So we can always pick one of these out and say, oh, let's learn about Hippocrates. And then I can just read this little thing on here, and look up the Hippocratic Oath, and maybe do a notebooking page on him. So it's just fun, different things to do. Pascal, it has just a bunch of different, it's history and science all. We can talk about what did they contribute? What did they discover? And we can go through those things, and that's a fun lesson there. So there's those. And then I have this cycle's science cards. I do the 4 and 5 year old class, which is the ABCDarians. So I find having visuals helps. when we're talking about like the classifications of like things and just like what a cell looks like on this outside. This is leaves. So I figured this will be fun that I can bring to class for them, and we can talk about like different weather, like all these, we can use these different pictures when we're learning our science facts. Okay. And then I also went ahead and got this cycles. I think I put 10 along in there. Artists and composers. So it gives you lots of different things to explore: art, music, and scripture. And it talks about, gives you a blurb on the back to read about that, and scriptures that we can look up. Talks about art and music of Greece and Rome, of the Middle Ages. And then it goes into the actual artists what we're going to be studying. The Renaissance. Talks about all those. So there's lots of information on these cards. There's different visuals. So I figure when we get to these, I can show this artwork to the class, and that we can use this maybe as our example of some of the things we want to create when we do our paintings during that quarter of the school year. Just showing you some of the cards. So, this is I've been using this one. I meant to get this one out today. So, and it also has the composers. We're doing Bach, Handel, and Mozart. Okay. So there's those. Another thing that CC sells are these pre-script workbooks. So they're workbooks that teach cursive from age 4, actually I think age 3 up, age 4 up. Anyway, this one is for the 4-year-old Griffin, and every day he'll have a letter that he can do, and he'll have a history coloring page. So I figure when he's doing this letter and he's doing his coloring page, I can get this timeline card out and we can talk about what's happening in this picture. And that's his reading and writing for the day. He has a reading book. It's his writing and maybe like listening reading for the day and discussion. So it goes through, this will be fun to do if we did it on Reformation Day. I don't know if I'll be able to time that perfectly, but there's all kinds of World War II. So as we go through the timeline, this will be what he can do. And then I have 2 for the going to be 2nd grader. This is cursive words and drawing for scripture, but it's not just scripture. So he already knows cursive letters and he already writes in cursive, but he obviously needs help on his handwriting. So it incorporates the cursive, it incorporates scripture, and they learn drawing at the bottom. And I think at some point they actually pull in, no, it's mostly just drawing, like a swan, a fish. Free drawing practice. They put in numbers in here too. And then they relate numbers back to scripture. I draw a crab. So the prescripts, so if you go onto the website, the color tells you what level. So this is like the beginner level. This is, the oranges are. I think there's a couple more oranges. I just picked one for him. This is for the next level up once they start doing whole words instead of just letters. So is this one, which I also got him. This is the math one. And this one obviously doesn't just incorporate math. It does have math. And they do copy work. Like this one has them copying it. Area measures the size of a 2-dimensional shape in square units. And then on the other page, it talks about, on the top, here we go, like math and nature. So on the top of a tomato, there are 5 leaves that form a star shape. If you draw 5 straight lines to connect the tips of the leaves, you will form a pentagon, a 5-sided shape. So incorporate that and they can draw it. And then makes math come to life in real life. So I'm doing the handwriting. Excuse me. That's them. That's what we're gonna do for math, along with Ray's arithmetic and our math facts. I think that's, oh, and that's not it. This is also from CC. It's called Understanding Mathematics from Counting to Calculus. So it's supposed to start in 3rd grade in that, but he will be finishing quote unquote 2nd grade math pretty soon. And so he'll be ready for this anyway. And it literally starts with counting and just understanding numbers, and it goes all the way through calculus, and it gives lessons. So this is an entire math program. You can use it, they said, in addition to a math curriculum you're already doing. And this is a bunch of problems and their solutions that you can do over 10,000 problems and solutions from counting to calculus. So this is an entire math curriculum. If you can use it as a standalone curriculum or like extra practice or extra help. I'm kind of using it kind of as a standalone, but with the extra little resources there and the scribblers that they have. Okay, just a few other things I wanted to show. We also, throughout the year, we're homeschoolers, so for birthday presents, we put homeschooling supplies. We got the whole YWAM for Young Reader series, which all goes through Christians throughout history. And it's pictures. It's kind of like it's the same as the other YWAM readers for the older readers, but it's a picture book. And everything is written in kind of like poetic form. And then we're still working, we just started book 15 of the Imagination Station series. We have the whole series, and we're just reading through those. And we'll probably reread through them again. We really enjoy them, just to learn about history. So there's that. And then we also, for a math read-alouds, we have, this is the Charlesburg Math Adventures. They have a bunch of math adventures, and it talks about, this is one for division, this is circumference, and it talks about mapping and the X and Y axis. I cannot speak today. This is a very improbable story, talks about odds. This Equal Schmeequal, my boys love this. We actually reenacted the story at a playground recently. And it talks about balances and things being equal weights. This one talks about the Fibonacci sequence of numbers. And it's a fun little book for little kids or bigger kids. I know I'm learning a lot of math by reading these that I don't ever remember learning when I was in school. So it goes through, they have a place for zero. I have more of these, I just didn't pull them out. Place value, geometry, circumference, radius, like all these different things. So these are read aloud. So one day if we want to do math and we want to do a read aloud, and then they could do a notebooking page on what we just read and the mathematical concept we just learned about. Or if there's a mathematical concept we are learning about, I could pull out one of these books and reinforce with this. So that is what I think I have for this year. We're into dinosaurs. The oldest says he wants to be a paleontologist, archaeologist. So this one's by Ken Ham, and it incorporates scripture, and it talks about the biblical basis for dinosaurs and what happened to them. So I'm reading this now, pre-reading it. But other than that, most everything is staying the same. We also got this book from a friend. It's just like we're learning about space, because God willing, we're going to go to the Kennedy Space Center this summer. So that's it. We're going to be doing a very read aloud, notebooking, exploration, play-based school this year, and hopefully until we get to challenge. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.